This video is sponsored by Squarespace. This day and age, all cameras shoot both photo and video. This makes it extremely easy to hybrid shoot, doing photo and video at the same session. The best place to learn this, practice it, and be able to charge more in your sessions are at engagement sessions. And with engagement season in full effect, you should start offering hybrid shooting at your sessions. In my last video, I talked about best practices for your engagement sessions, which I'll leave a link for that down below in the description. But I also asked you all if you wanted to see more about hybrid shooting. So let's talk about how you can pull that off. Again, if you're not familiar with hybrid shooting, that's shooting both photo and video at a session. Now, this is much easier to do at an engagement session because it's kind of on your time. However, I know photographers who do it at weddings. Let's talk about how you can pull this off. Start out, you need the proper cameras. Now, there's a whole bunch of cameras out at this point in time, and everyone can do photo and video. However, I will say one of the biggest things you absolutely need is a quick switch between photo and video button. Now, most of Fujifilm's newest cameras do have this. You can see on the GFX 102, there's a nice switch. Also the X-T5 or even the XS20 has a record button. All these cameras are a great choice, and what I love about this is that when you flip into movie mode, the settings you've already set are already dialed in, so you don't have to change your settings, or the settings won't be the same as your photo. This way makes it easy to take a couple of photos, swap back to video, and take a little bit of video. You'll want to make sure that your camera can shoot in 60 frames a second. Slowing things down makes them look much better, and as a novice videographer, this is going to be the easiest way to make a decent looking video. Your camera should be able to do at least 1080p 60 FPS or 4K 60 FPS. Honestly, if you're just adding this onto an engagement session, 1080 is probably more than enough. You don't need 4K, but generally I will shoot mine in 4K just because. Also, make sure your camera has IBIS or in-body stabilization. If your camera does not have IBIS in it, it's going to be very hard for you to get a good shot handheld. Now, clearly you can use a gimbal, but as a photographer, we want to be able to shoot and also switch back into video and vice versa. You can't do that when you have a gimbal and you have to balance it and all that craziness. So having nice handheld shots that you can pull off because there's stabilization in the camera already is a must. I would not suggest doing it without IBIS. Now that we know what our camera should have, let's talk about what other gear you might need along with your camera. Like I was just saying, you do not need a gimbal. As long as you have IBIS built into the camera, you should be good. Just keep in mind you don't want a lot of walking shots. Now, unless you have the steadiest hands in the world, walking shots are going to be hard to pull off even with IBIS in the camera. Now, I will say I used to be in marching band, and if y'all know roll stepping, I usually will do that and it helps out, but still it's not enough. As far as focal lengths to use, I would say stick with like a 35, maybe even a 50. You don't need anything longer than that. And honestly, since it's an engagement session, you want to get wider shots so you can see both people and also a little bit of where they are. Anything longer and it's going to be harder to keep it steady. It's going to be harder to go in and out of photo and video. I think keep it nice, light, and easy with a 35. Also, make sure to have a variable ND filter. This is an absolute must. If you know anything about video, you're going to be pairing up your shutter speed with your frames per second and basically doubling your shutter compared to your FPS. So if you're shooting in 60 frames, your shutter needs to be 1/120. But as you know, as a photographer, if you're outside in a bright sunny day shooting at 1/120, you're going to be totally overexposed. And that's what your variable ND filter is for. Basically, in simple terms, it's sunglasses for your lens. And variable means you can turn it up or down, making it darker or lighter. With this, you can keep your shutter speed at 1/120 and darken it so your shot's not overexposed. Now, the cool thing is you can still shoot your photos like this as well. And sometimes on super bright days, if your shutter's not super fast, a variable ND is actually kind of nice for photo as well. But basically, when you're shooting hybrid, make sure you have ND filters on your cameras already. Just shoot with them on there all day. The only time you're going to need to take them off is if you're not outdoors. Because once you get inside, the ND filter is going to be a little bit too much for photo. Now again, if you're wondering what kind of settings you need from your camera, we already talked about half of it, but let's go over it one more time. So shoot in 1080 or 4K at 60 FPS. This way you're gonna have a nice, smooth, slow motion video. Your shutter speed should be 1/20. That's double the 60 FPS. ISO can be wherever you would like it to be, but it's probably gonna be fairly low, especially if you're outdoors shooting at 1/120. If your lenses are super fast and have a super wide aperture, I would say to stop down just a little bit. I shot some of my footage on the GFX 102 with the 55 f1.7, and I would stop down to about 2 or 2.2. You don't need to stop down a lot, but it's going to help keep everything in focus and make it make sense. And also when you're doing static shots and you're not using continuous autofocus, stopping down a little bit will help you stay in focus. Now, before we talk about how to actually pull this off, let's talk about this video's sponsor, Squarespace. Now, you may not have known, but you can actually host and upload video to Squarespace. When you're designing your Squarespace website, it's easy to add video to your site and use it at any point in your website. And this is one of the things I love most about Squarespace. If you're not familiar with them, they're an online platform to help you build your online presence and website quickly and easily. Their templates make it super easy to build a beautiful website in no time. And again, you can add photo and video to show off your whole portfolio. You can even see here on my website, instead of having a photo of myself for the Meet Your Photographer section, I just put a video of myself working. This way couples get to see that I actually do this and see me in action. And again, I talk about it all the time, but if you're a wedding photographer or photographer, you're looking to scale your business and actually get more work, you need a website so that you look more legit. Pair the website up with great analytics, commerce to sell physical or digital products, and even member pages, and you can grow along with your Squarespace website. Make sure to check out the link in the description below for 10% off of your first website or domain. So let's talk about how you actually can pull off your video while you're at your session. So while you're at your session, do everything like you normally would. Set up your couple in a nice spot and start taking your photos. Now there's going to be two approaches. You can either tell them that you're going to be taking video, or you can just let them be together and take some video if they're being cute. Now, mind you, when you're taking video, think about what you might want for your video. Don't just take random videos and hope to place it together later. Think about what it is you want to show. Now, my approach to this is the same as a wedding day when I'm doing just photo. I'm usually taking a nicer, larger shot to show off the context and what's happening, and then closer shots of the details. Again, this is why I use two cameras, and you can see some of this in my full wedding day videos, which I'll link up above. So think about video like that as well. A wider shot to set context, and a tighter shot to show something cute or the connection between your couple. Other times you might want to let them know you're going to take a video, but again, don't do anything crazy and make them feel uncomfortable about it. Just let them know like, hey, you're going to be walking towards me. I'm going to take video for this time. And just come walking towards me. Don't really look at the camera, just hang out together and then start from there. That's almost the same kind of stuff I'm going to be telling my couple anyway when I'm shooting photo. I personally do like taking a couple shots and then switching the video and not letting them know, unless I want to switch the pose. It generally works out much better. Let's take a look at this from a recent engagement session that I actually just did. On this session, I'm shooting with the GFX 102 and also the X-T5. I have ND filters on both of my cameras, and I'm taking photos and video that way. Yeah, about to get it back into that high school kind of. When you hybrid shoot, ideally you don't want to shoot in log. In this session I did, but what I would recommend doing is shooting in whatever profile looks good on your camera. I love using Fujifilm cameras because the color profiles look absolutely amazing, and this is the kind of stuff you can get straight out of camera. You want to do this so that you don't have to edit as much, so I'll be showing all of my video from this engagement session in its full raw form. Just keep in mind it's all in 4K, 60 FPS, I just haven't slowed it down or color graded it. Straighten your ring a little bit for me. When I first started, I would come home, I'd be super excited about my photos, load them up. My wife's like my biggest cheerleader. She'd be like, yay, yay, photos, photos. And then she would just be like, necklace is crooked, ring is off. This is why didn't you tell it else? As you can see here, I took this video while I was talking to my couple to keep them distracted and again, not so uncomfortable at the fact that I'm taking video. Tyler, lay your head on his shoulder. Yeah. Y'all hold that and keep doing what you're doing.
All right, let's bear this sun for 2 seconds. Oh yeah, I love how y'all are standing there. Just grab his arm, kind of face him. Yeah. Yeah, and TJ, you'll stay straight just like that. Y'all just kind of look at each other, forget about me for a moment.
So as you can see, this was a bright sunny day. I actually don't prefer shooting in the sunlight, but I wanted to get this coffee shop in the shot, so we went ahead and went into direct sunlight. I think the thing I don't like most about direct sunlight is it changes the way a lot of the colors look. I usually like a little bit of cloud coverage on my photos.
Y'all bring your heads together almost like you're just trying to, yeah. Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna have you all, we're gonna do some walking. So I took some video earlier, I just didn't tell y'all. So we're gonna do some more video now. Let's start back over this way. Y'all gonna be holding hands walking. TJ, come down off of this ledge. And then make it kind of cute. When you're walking, try your best to, I don't know, make it playful, but just don't be too weird. But be weird. Y'all can go ahead whenever you're ready.
Walking shots like this are usually better done with a gimbal. However, if you don't make it too quick of a walk, you should be able to pull it off with steady hands.
Stop there and kiss.
And a huge tip that I learned from wedding photography is let the camera roll. Once you've told your couple to do something, and maybe that moment's gone, just keep rolling. When the couple fills in the space with whatever they're going to do, usually that's when you're going to capture the thing you wanted the most. I've noticed at weddings that the moment you go, oh, okay, it's fine, I won't take any more photos, that's when something happens and you miss the shot.
Awesome. Can y'all sit on this ledge? Come like over here though, so we don't get like everyone back there. Just like right here is perfect.
Again, I highly recommend getting a camera that has a movie to stills switch. This makes it very easy to take a couple photos, switch to movies, and your couple won't even know as you're just standing there holding the camera up. That's what I do in these next 2 shots.
Awesome.
So now that you've recorded some video at your session, it's time to edit it. I'm not going to go over the full process right now, but what I can tell you is find a song that you like and fits the mood of your couple, and then beat match your video. It's much easier for someone who doesn't know how to actually edit video to edit it to the beat of the music. This is something I learned as an audio engineer when I would work on commercials and TV shows. It's just so much easier to beat map everything. Basically, choose a clip, slow it down, find how long of that clip you want, and then chop it off somewhere on the beat with your music. Do this for a couple of clips, and you can have a nice little short video kind of like this. And that's hybrid shooting. Let me know if you do this at your engagement sessions in the comments below, or if you want to start doing it. Again, this is a great way to charge a little bit extra, and I know photographers who do it at weddings as well, so you can be like, hey, here's a little highlight video at your wedding and charge more for that as well. I hope this was helpful for you all, and if you'd love to learn more, don't forget to check out the More Magenta Collective, which I'll leave in the description below. It's basically my new community where you can conversate with me, get feedback, ask questions, and get access to all my courses. So definitely check that out, and I'll catch y'all next time.